El Salvador officially repealed its Bitcoin legal tender law and part of a loan agreement. That's FUD, and I have to address this because it's such bullshit. And every single time El Salvador is mentioned in the news, not every single time, but like 9 out of 10 times, it's just FUD. They didn't change anything. It was always voluntary for businesses to accept Bitcoin. They were never forced to. And I know because I just got back from El Salvador, and I know from firsthand experience because I paid for my pupusas using the Bitcoin Lightning Network, and some businesses don't accept it. Others do. It's completely up to them what they choose to do. So every time we hear these headlines about El Salvador, it's just completely bullshit. They said they take this loan and Bukele is going to push back Bitcoin adoption. Bullshit. They've been purchasing more Bitcoin since they took the loan from the IMF. And they've always had the opportunity to, choose if they wanted to use Bitcoin. No one was ever forced to only use Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a legal tender. It's a currency, yes, but so is the US dollar. And I know because I have firsthand experience being there. So I just want to throw that FUD out the window. But they are stacking sats, which is a beautiful thing. And they're continuing to accumulate. And I just want to say this. Fuck the IMF. The country recently acquired an additional 12 BTC valued at over 1.2 million. And they're just north of 6,051. Bitcoin. Also, stablecoin issuer Tether recently announced relocating its headquarters to El Salvador. That's a blackjack. That's a victory. Due to the country's favorable regulatory environment. And did you know, where I was staying at the, where was I at? The Sheraton El Presidente in the El Presidente district. That's where the Google fucking headquarters is as well. Massive Google building. A lot of companies are opening up shop in El Salvador because it's growing. It's Bitcoin nation. It has the lowest homicide rate of all the countries I've ever seen in the world. I don't think just in the Americas now, but around the world. Less than 1 homicide thus far this year is unheard of. You can't say that in Chicago. You can't say that anywhere in the United States. So respect what Bukele is doing. Shout out to all the Salvadorans holding it down. They showed us so much love out there. There is only one Bitcoin country. There's only one Bukele, and there'll only ever be. United States will never be El Salvador. You can't compare the two. It's like comparing apples and oranges. I just want to throw that out there. Why did Bukele ever take the loan from the IMF? Number one, it's $1.4 billion they can use to buy more Bitcoin. That's number one. Other reasons, I don't know. I haven't talked to Bukele personally, so I can't speak on his behalf, but I did speak to the Salvadoran people, and they told me Bukele is playing chess. I'm a chess player myself, so I completely understand. He has to do what is most advantageous for his people as the president, representing his people. And if the IMF is going to give him $1.4 million and he can purchase another $1.4 billion worth of Bitcoin, I think he's going to do it. That's how much he believes in Bitcoin. So don't believe the FUD. He took the money to wind down the Bitcoin. That's bullshit. Look at his actions. He's doubled down in buying Bitcoin since he took the loan, right? It was like the day after he took the loan, he purchased 11 Bitcoin. Remember, he was only purchasing 1 Bitcoin a day, and then he upped it to like 11 a day. So, I'll judge a man by his actions. First and foremost, he's been creating all the right actions, making all the right things to make it the greatest place to live for his people. So I got to respect that. And I don't believe fucking anything the IMF says or does. Any article produced by the IMF or any lamestream media is always FUD 100% of the time. It was back then, back when he did it, and it is even now. It's just to confuse people and make it seem like Bitcoin's not good, right? Because the IMF and the power structure and the lizard folk that control the world, they don't want other countries adopting Bitcoin as a legal tender. So they're going to do everything in their power to prevent them from doing it by fucking fudding El Salvador, which is precisely what they do. They're corrupt. Read a book called Confessions of an Economic Hitman and understand how they control countries by giving them loans they can't pay back so they can take over and fuck the local people. Bukele will not allow that. He's playing chess. These motherfuckers are playing checkers. And I truly believe that. Anyways, don't get me started now. He's using the IMF against the IMF if he is doing it right. Like JV says, he's playing chess. I think he will be buying more of the biddy. He also says he's sitting on approximately $3 trillion worth of a precious metal by the name of gold. What do you think he's going to do? He's going to sell the precious metal gold for the hardest motherfucking asset to ever exist. We call it biddy. So you already know, game on. Bukele is the man. There's only one philosopher king. Shout out to Bukele. Nobody FUDs El Salvador except the IMF, but they can go fuck themselves. So what I say in the lyrics, fuck the IMF. We gonna be okay. Fuck the IMF. We don't need them, eh? Fuck the IMF. This is a freedom play. In El Salvador, freedom reigns. BTC, tax-free from gains. 100K, Bitcoin, babe. 100K, 6 figs all day. Bitcoin Super Saiyan, Bitcoin Super Saiyan, stacking BTC like I'm in the ball league, stacking BTC like it's Dragon Ball Z, stacking BTC like Gohan versus Satoshi. You already know, fam. Stacking the biddy, first and foremost. But I digress. Next story today.